over there in France, in a big advance, little Johnny stood on hand.
Since the beginning of the war, various newspapers reported what happened at the front lines. Although the data was scarce and provided only by the state, journalists and publishers tried their best to depict ongoing conflict as truthful as possible, even though their work was hindered by propaganda bureaus, which tried to hide information about losses from eyes of the public. War chronicles from World War I can still be a valuable history source. Der Weltkrieg, the World War, was a weekly series of newspapers printed by Hansa Verlag from Hamburg, Germany, containing only photos, drawings and articles about ongoing conflict. Today we will have a look at issue 70 from the first week of December 1915. First article, titled The End of the Serbian Army. It describes the victories of Austro-Hungarian and Bulgarian forces in battles against the Serbian army. Despite the heroism of the defenders and help from French and English units, in December 1915 the enemy was unstoppable. By 12th of December, Allied forces were back in Greece, while Serbian soldiers had to evacuate by sea, mostly to the Greek island of Corfu. On the first page of this article, there's a photo depicting a typical mountainous path of southern Serbia, Albania and Montenegro. 2 pages later, there is another photo from the same front line, titled In Car on Serbian Road. Direct quotes of officers and soldiers make the biggest part of the article. They mostly state the numbers of troops on the front, numbers of captured equipment, or names of the conquered villages. Next photo depicts a castle in a distance, with a description: Maglic Castle in the Ibar Valley blocks the Ibar Valley, through which the Germans had penetrated, at the narrowest point of the valley. Serbia's largest and most well-preserved castle ruins in a picturesque location. A lot of space is used to describe the retreat of the Serbian forces. Next photo is also about that. A mountainous landscape from the Mirdita, northern Albania, that the fleeing Serbs had to cross on their way to Scutari. In the foreground you can see an Albanian village. The last photo of this part of the chronicle, the city of Prinzen on the Albanian border. The city, crowned by an old Turkish citadel, lies at the northern foot of the Shavda and is an important road junction. Near the middle of the issue of the War Chronicle, there is rather an interesting photograph. Although events described on the same page are still connected to war in Serbia, this small harbor takes us on the other front line, one long gone. You may remember it from my previous video, as it is an emergency port built by the English with the help of sunken ships on the Dardanelles coast. In the middle of this newspaper, we find an illustration of a hand grenade attack, based on an English representation. And, moving on, we have a photo of English officers with the new steel helmets and winter furs. Next we have a short and very interesting little propaganda article. Here is a raw Google translation. Quote: The ignorance of the Russian doctors. In a St. Petersburg newspaper, a respected Russian professor noted with regret that the Russians lagged miserably behind Europe in medical science and were overtaken by Germany in a particularly threatening way, as the war had again shown. In the German army, 60% of the losses, wounded soldiers, returned to the front, while in Russia only 18%. According to this, Germany has a lead of 420,000 men, or 10.5 army corps for every million wounded people. This explains the inexhaustibility of the German troops. The German superiority could not only be explained in an artillery way, but also from the more than threefold killing successes. This ratio of 60 to 18 could have dire consequences for Russia. After the War of 1870, it was proverbial that the German school had beaten the French. Now the German doctor and the German technician were the greatest enemy of the Allies. Just as Russia's arms orders in the previous war had strengthened the German war industry, the large percentage of Russian sick people who visited the German seaside resorts contributed to the improvement of the German medical profession. Unquote. Moving on, the new Italian offensive. This article is about the movements of Italian forces preparing for the Battle of Isonzo, one of 11 in total. Despite incoming Christmas Eve, soldiers and officers were getting ready for new offensive in the mountains. Here we have the photo of Italian artillery in the high mountains, transport of a heavy mortar on a new track laid for this purpose, based on an English illustration. This article has the same format as the one about the front line in Serbia, so let's move on to the photos, which depict different battlefields. Here we have an advanced observation post on the Flemish coast, and marine infantry equipped with protective masks against enemy gas attacks in front of the wire obstacles. The last photo of the chronicle depicts a construction of a shelter for ammunition in the east. Although I used scans of the issue 70 of the War Chronicle from my collection, you can read whole chronicle on the site Project Gutenberg. Link is in the description. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe as it helps my channel a lot. You can also check out my Instagram. Chronicle shown comes from my private collection and there are more videos to come.